dude. Yeah. Oh man. I hope that we haven't been
muted the whole time.
I think we've been muted like this whole time. Oh no.
Well, media race.
We had some good stuff going
on.
Yeah,
well,
oh, man.
That is the nature of this bullshit. Thank you, Taylor. You're a very helpful, lovely individual. So Doc and Chester, they're gonna pop along. Cassidy. Do we have any other crew members? Ducard's gone.
Ducard's dead.
Adam's gone. Adam's stolen.
Odo stays in his hole, and Shark is stuck to the wall.
Shark's on the wall, yeah.
I mean, Taylor didn't even hear the whole shout out you gave out to him and all those.
No, beautiful. We cried.
Actually, this whole thing has been about you.
Yeah, we're just talking about you nonstop.
So far.
Well, I'm sorry that you missed all that cool stuff we've been talking about, but
it's about to go downhill.
It's about to go downhill. So they're going to take a drop ship onto a ring world to catch everybody up. A ring world that is of ancient origin and has a dense tropical rainforest on it, as well as a giant lake and a giant black sand desert. There is points of interest, a mountain that is made of derelict vessels that have all seemingly crashed into each other, and a big old school temple in the desert, and then there is a plateau in the jungle that's right above the tree line that has this really beautiful, villa that's kind of on top of it with a swimming pool and, a mini bar.
We're here to rescue Adam, who we have been picking up bits and pieces from on the way over here.
We're here for dinner.
We're here for dinner.
Yeah.
We were invited.
So you guys are going to get on the drop ship.
Rumor.
When you do, you're going to be flying that bad boy? Sure. So you get on the ship. You're all kind of crowded in there.
These are not very good tomatoes.
And you guys can you can go ahead and make me a flying check to start.
Fly. Over 20.
Nice. So you zip right in. Past the into what is essentially you can feel turbulence as you're entering an atmosphere. The ring produces its own atmosphere, and
strap in back there. It's getting a little bumpy.
That's great. Have a hero point for being a quippy pirate.
Do we wear seatbelts on the ship though?
I don't know. Do you
didn't install them?
No.
The best you could have would be little subway
bars.
straps. Yeah, they would.
Sure.
There's maybe only
Not in these old ships.
there's maybe only one seat in this ship, and there's probably a little cot it's like a one person.
Fortunately, we're all so tight in here that it doesn't really matter.
And you start to kind of rumble down. Which of the locations are you flying towards?
Oh, I think the villa feels like the best dinner site.
Yeah, for sure. As you kind of adjust for the turbulence and you start to land, make me a intelligence saving throw, please.
Alright, so drop. It's not. 8 plus 17 maths.
You can sense that someone's sensing you, like a presence is in your mind. And as soon as you recognizes that you're there, it cuts it off, and not 12 seconds later, the systems on your ship start to boom, boom, fall out, and there's just no more,
Perfect.
No more energy. Make me an Arcana check as you're flipping through trying to troubleshoot.
Nat 20.
All right. It's the ring itself, so you can tell. You're looking at it. You can see that it's actually using that vapor, that aether that's out in space, and pulling it in, and has created a giant, a massive anti-magic field that basically is causing you guys to crash. And the ship is now falling. You can make me another fly check with disadvantage to try to get it to catch on, and if you want to, you can try to restart the engines.
Well, what does that do to me function-wise if mechanical magic stuff is not...
You are touched by the automators. You have magic that's...
Very first time.
For the very first time. You have a special connection to mechanical magic that allows your character to be a character still.
Cool.
What are we rolling right now?
We're trying not to crash.
Yeah.
I was
Also,
gonna see if I could fix this.
Oh, okay.
10, maybe you could use one of those
Because we're
starlight
falling.
batteries we definitely brought and hotwired into the drop ship.
No, I gave you flashback points. Everybody can have a flashback point.
Great.
Because otherwise it's going badly
Yeah.
with the nat one.
And so
No, no.
you want to grab the starlight cord that he's like, that's in my bag, and you want to give me a what do we just have one check, right? The hacking, or engineering.
Oh yeah.
Just throw some wisdom on there.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
it's just your wisdom.
I
plus-
had it written down on my other
It's
sheet.
different
Okay.
now. Just
It's just your
do
wisdom
that
plus your
plus
proficiency.
4.
Yeah.
Wait.
3. Plus 3. That plus 3. 5 plus 3, so 8. Plus whatever you roll. And you know what? No. You rolled a 17.
Because of your.
Yes, because I did this.
Okay.
He's like, no, it's in the other pocket. you start
That goes
you're
the
going to
red
the wrong
wire
bag.
crosses
Yeah.
the blue wire.
And yeah, it really doesn't take much of a check because these are things that like plug and play. So you take a few wires and very quickly, and the ship clicks back on, and you can make me that fly check this time with advantage. We roll all your dice.
21.
Awesome. Yeah, you're able to catch catch yourself in the air and manage to not plummet head first. You can either land on the roof of the villa or in the pool.
Roof, we can get down through. Maybe
The roof makes more sense. The pool
Pool's
is visually.
really Pool's
Flat
funny
or
though.
steep?
It is flat. It actually is like a place on top. You can see there are like sunbathing chairs. There's a big like this is a mansion.
So we come in hot into the roof, landing gears down, and then we kind of fishtail, knocking all of the patio furniture off of the edge, and just come to rest in kind of a shaft parking job
Yeah,
right
yeah.
on the precipice.
That's perfect. Yeah.
We did it.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Roll me investigation 10. Although you are very impressed by Z's flying, you all are because he just did a he rolled 3 he rolls 3 d20s now, so he rolls with advantage. It's like he's
Crazy.
doing the most insane thing anytime he has advantage. So you guys almost died, and he manages to pull off that parking job, and you're like, okay. But then the moment you look over, you're like, oh my god, the duotronic generation sequencer is busted. That's
Oh no.
yeah. So
That's definitely a thing. We know what it is.
Yeah.
It's
I know
definitely
exactly
a
what
problem.
that is.
Is what it is.
We're gonna need a new Dewey Decimal.
system.
Yeah.
Bye,
Forsooth.
Taylor. Have a good dinner. Okay.
Mayor.
Forsooth. Forsooth is a very technical term.
We're gonna need 4 suits
we're
to
gonna need
fix
4
this.
At least.
At least.
All right. So, but that being said, you all have your lives, and you didn't take any damage, and that's really nice. So, as you step out of the ship, grabbing whatever gear you have with you, and you guys kind of like step out. I mean, you already did a scan. You know that it's in class. You can breathe on it, but when you step on it, it's like it's humid, and it feels like planet. You haven't been on a planet with like vegetation. I don't think since we
Disgusting.
started this
Pretty long
campaign.
time.
So
You gonna be able to handle this?
I don't like it.
as you kind of stand around and look at off in the distance, you see that to the north and south of you, the landscape just breaks and just tapers until it makes this ring that wraps all the way back around you, and so you can see directly above you the dividing line between the sea and the desert, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, it is something you've never seen. You've never seen anything quite like this before, and although you know all about it for some reason. So as you're all standing there, everybody roll me a perception.
19.
Cool.
14.
Cool.
13.
Cool. So off in the distance, you see something flying, and you hear a call, and you're like, what do those look like? Roll me history.
To start?
Just
12.
they look like dinosaurs off in the distance.
Hey. Why do I see dinosaurs in space?
And
right
then
now?
as everyone else looks,
Anyone?
they're kind of flying around, and you're like, oh, they're pterodactyl. No, they have legs. What? And so they're like weird pterodactyl people that are flying off to the south of you. And you can kind of hear them echoing above. Like there's a whole pack of them, maybe like 12.
They look threatening.
They're very far away, so you can't tell if they're threatening or not. But they're disconcerting and they're present. So much so that you do not see the figure in full carbon fiber scale, techno scale. Think Black Panther, but
I will.
he's got a bat aesthetic and a helmet. It's like a big man. He
I'm
looks
Betty.
He looks like
That's
Black,
what we were going for. That was
No,
the right
that's it. He looks like
Robin Williams is Betty.
he looks like Black Panther with a little bit of Black Manta rolled in there. So he's got this big, overly angular helmet that has these bat features. It looks kind of Aztecian. It'd be like if you could do all those layers on top of each other, and then big Kraven the Hunter style. You get your feathery boa going on as well. So. You guys don't see him as he lets
I like
this giant cannon that he's got next to him fires a net and wraps all of you. Make me a dex save, please, with disadvantage because of him being.
I'll just roll twice. Not 20. Oh wait, disadvantage.
Oh man.
26.
26 with disadvantage.
Wait. No, I'm sorry. 18.
Yes.
So sorry.
18.
18 is very different.
Yes,
15.
that's very, very different.
Add an extra 10 in there. You know, because monk.
10.
Cool. And our people around here, they automatically fail their saving throws. That's what happens when you don't come to the game. You just don't auto fail. No, Bryce has to work very early in the morning. So
Rainy,
I feel
I
for him.
swear to
He's
God.
got the breakfast
You are
morning
too
blues.
much today. Come here.
So the net wraps around you, and you feel a jolt that goes through your system, and then you're out like a light. When you all come to,
Thank you.
any number of hours later, you don't really know because there is no sunshine. I mean, there is no moving sunlight, so you would have to actually have put together that the nebula. This might be the time you, as a character, would realize that the nebula can help you tell time. But
I don't have a watch.
yeah, all your gear is just it works, but what
The chronometer's broken.
Well, the way they work is they center on whatever planetoid, or if you're in deep space, so it's still registering deep space time. So it tells you the time according to your ship, but not the time according to the planetoid like it should.
Right, but what time is this on our ship compared to when we left our ship?
It's at least 6 hours.
Yeah. Great.
I have a
So we had a long
chronometer adapter if
No.
you'd like it.
Almost.
Still,
Take a short rest.
Can we just
Are
play
we
here for 2 more hours?
No,
Pretend-
right.
where are we? Are we still in the net?
You
Are
no, you wake up and you're all sitting at a very chic, very modern table with lots of delicious food on it. Gross indeed. There's even some oil cans for you over there,
Thank goodness.
robot.
You
Oil
can't
can.
eat those. You're still organic.
Shut your dirty mouth.
It's olive oil. It's fine. Olive oil cans.
Right.
It's not sustenance.
She's just
Yeah.
trying to put on weight at this point.
Yeah.
You're all kind of already sitting in chairs. Your gear, as it is, has been taken from you, so you actually don't have your stuff on you. You might freak out if the first thing you do is where's my stuff? That's maybe when you notice that sitting at the head of the table is a very imposing, but very gaunt in the face person that you guys don't know. Obviously, presumably the Baron. He's dressed in he's still wearing clothes that look more functional than I don't know, than like fancy. He's not just dressed up like a fancy dude. But he does have a little bit of style. It's a little more like flair. Think like...
Kind of like a uniform?
Yeah,
like
he's wearing like an old military uniform that looks kind of like Victorian-esque, but has... he has a very like steampunk vibe to him. Would be a better way to like,
So are we still dressed?
yeah, you're still dressed. You saw by your clothes. As a matter of all your gear. He says if you're looking for your things, my friends. He just motions to a table, and at the back, all your things have been neatly collected and are waiting for you within arm's reach. You can run to the table if you want to and get your gun.
Well, I was gonna say if I could have a
soup course.
if I could get a flashback moment, I would love to turn Ghost into
passive.
its passive state.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And that's
before
when
they
you reach back.
confiscate.
Yeah, you reach back and you're like, oh, there it is. It's fine. Didn't see it. It's because your gun's invisible.
It's legit invisible.
And undetectable. Be cool.
Like cool boys.
But standing behind
Cool.
this guy is that black-clad hunter, and that's what he's called. He's just called the hunter. So he's standing behind him, and he's got a large pole arm that is very high-tech looking. You can tell that it has some sort of it's going to have magic properties. That it looks like a corporate made, like something that like a orbital ranger would carry, or something like somebody that needs like a melee class that does tactical fighting. But he's got a spear with him, and he's kind of standing. Just kind of like at guard, but the demeanor of Zaroff is I'm gonna say Zaroff is he's super chill. He's like drinking a glass of wine, red wine, and he's sipping it. He's William Riker. He's Xanatos. That's the way I see him. Except he's very pale and he has bloodshot red eyes. And he says, "Let me introduce myself." He says, "I'm Baron. I'm the Baron Zaroff, the purveyor and keeper of these fine hunting grounds." He says, "I'm a collector of interesting oddities. And as you look around, you see there's lots of art pieces and like old magic items, things that are not from this place. I'll just kind of hanging out. There's swords on the wall." He's not obviously just not worried about you guys fighting him. I don't know. Maybe you want to roll an insight on him?
I do.
Go for it. How's the soup?
It's delicious, and I have to say the food is wonderful, but your manner of welcoming us leaves a little to be desired.
He says, and for that I apologize. He says, it's just so hard to get people to come down unless, you've dismantled one of their cohorts. And he laughs and drinks some more of his wine.
Fortunately, those Voidwalkers have wonderful regenerating abilities.
I rolled
Do
a
they?
17 insight,
Yeah.
and I'd also like to wonder is that wine?
It's not wine, no.
It's not
It's
wine.
got a...
He's a
It's, yeah. He's
Oh, duh.
He's a vampire. Yeah, he's a vampire.
Lucy Fane's a lot quicker
That's
than
not-
I am,
that's not
just
much.
so you know.
That's not much of a
Sorry.
a leap, and I don't think he's trying to masquerade too much.
Cool, and I get it.
Masquerade reference.
The other thing you notice, what'd you roll?
17
Okay, no.
insight. Not good enough. Don't see it.
He's a shark teeth vampire. He's like 30 Days of Night vampire. He's got like those like bitey teeth all the way around. Other than that, he's very handsome. The bloodshot eyes and all that stuff. Mostly it's glamour. I mean, like they don't have to look good. That's the thing about vampires is that they make you think they look good even if they don't. And basically, he's like, before you whip out your invisible gun or have another round of food, maybe I should present to you why I invited you here today. He's a really down to business kind of guy.
Would be fine, but I
Maybe
think we
we
can
should.
keep eating while you talk.
Well, he says, "Go ahead. I just want you to know that I would very much for you like to have you play a game with me, a wager, if you will."
The most dangerous game?
Sure, whatever you want to call it. That's a rule. That is a house rule. If you can work in my titles organically into it.
That was the title, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the title. I just called it a dangerous game. But he is actually. I mean, it's the guy's name too. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it is.
There we go.
I think he's a general in the book, not a baron. Yeah. He says he's basically he kind of points around. He says I need you. Basically, he's like I request you to see if you can defeat my challenge. He says I've stocked Ring World with some of the most interesting creatures and deadly traps that I've found in the void, and I would very much like to see them. Like to see you best them. If you do so, you can keep anything that you find along the way. You can keep your lives, and you can save your friend who is hidden somewhere on the planet.
And this all for sport.
Used my spell too soon.
Could probably use it again.
Oh, that's right.
He says
he would know it though.
He says, yeah. He says your magic. I'm very excited to see how well your magic works in the ring world, especially yours. Looking you over, the knowing like he knows something's inside your brain, like he can see it.
Stop looking into my robot's brain.
Inappropriate.
He says, and
also, you're not my robot. I apologize. I didn't mean to frame it that way. You are your own bot.
Own bot.
Own bot.
He says, if you manage to collect trophies from the creatures I've stocked in, I will even reward you at the end. I'll make this well worth your time. If you don't play, you will die here. He says, and for every day that it takes, I will take one more limb from your little friend, just to keep things interesting. But he says, but don't let that spoil the mood for you. He says, the villa is yours to use. It's free to stay. He says, if you don't value your friend's life, you can stay indefinitely. I don't really care.
That's good.
And he takes another big gulp of his wine, and he sets the glass down. And that's when you notice when he sets the glass down that he sets it out of frame, and the hologram that he's speaking to you through doesn't perfectly replicate it, and he kind of gives the illusion away. He does it on purpose. And with that, he looks back at his bodyguard, or the hunter. He says, "Oh, and also my number one fan. This my big time guy. My favorite of my collection will be hunting you. You'll notice the mithril bands attached to your necks, and you just notice them because they are thin.
So light.
They are so light
wow.
and thin. I mean, that's one of the properties of mithril. It's super strong and super light. And you are also wearing your clothes and whatnot, so they're on the outside. They are not like clamped. They're not big. It's these thin little bands. He says, while on Ring World, you're perfectly safe. But he says, if you attempt to escape while still wearing one of my control bands, you will die. Feel free to test that theory too, because I'm just starved for, entertainment. Inhuman blood, what can I say? And he says, all right, well, I'll see you guys later. And he gets up, and you are left in his villa. And it doesn't take much. You look around, there are supplies, not like the most robust selection of supplies, as if maybe they've been picked through a couple times. But there are you can make torches and old school supplies. There's not gonna be any kind of arcane tech hanging around. This guy is decidedly old school, as most vampires are. But you can tell that he does like some new technologies too, because he's got holographic sensors placed in this place. Who knows what other things are in here? But the majority of it is just straight up magic.
Is the hunter in the room with us? Or
He was also
just being clear.
Yeah, he was also a.
Are there what other kinds of things are there?
Roll me an investigation or a perception as you walk around.
I'm gonna use an inspiration. And look again.
Did it go better that time?
No.
The dice is so heavy it made the dog bark. She thought it was,
You're
she
fine.
thought it was the door.
You're fine.
Okay.
What'd you roll?
17. Investigation.
You are looking around, and there's nothing. All your
You're
gear
right.
that was taken, like maybe your jacket was on the table. Like it's all been clearly cataloged, so everything has a tag on it. You can rip the tags off, but
Yeah, I want to rip the tag off my jacket.
yeah. You put your stuff on. You get all your things, and there are enough rations here that you can carry as much as you
Are
can.
there like forks, spoons laying
Yeah,
around?
I mean it's just like imagine an Airbnb.
Oh, okay,
Like
cool.
a super nice Airbnb. This is this guy's home.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You are literally
Okay.
in his home. He's just not there.
I'm gonna grab a bunch of forks and stuff them in my pockets, in my coat,
The game's begun.
and any other kitchen weapons I see, like, knife sharpeners. If I find any knife sharpeners, I'm gonna stuff those in
So
my
after
coat.
you get your glove back on, you can set a timer so you can know when the cycle happens
Great.
for Adam's limbs.
Is there a computer in the building?
There's not a computer in the building. There are a lot of books.
A lot of books.
A lot of books.
What kind of books?
There are all sorts of books. No, it's going to be very hard for you to just cipher. I mean, you can start looking through the things, but
Is there any
Like-
art?
Is there a card catalog?
there's tons of
system?
art.
Can I investigate
There's
the
no
room I'm in? Or maybe the library?
You're looking through. You guys are walking through this whole space. The
to see if I recognize
The only thing that
any of the
you
artists.
notice is that missing from your group, of course, is Chester and Doc.
Oh, yeah.
And as you are inspecting the outside of the villa, around the edge of the property line towards the south, there you find an invisible barrier, and sitting on the other side of it are your two missing cohorts.
Chester and
They
Doc?
just were left out. I think accidentally. I don't think they were supposed to be left out. But they were essentially cut off from you. You can walk around the plateau, and Doc's like, I've already looked at the whole thing. He's like, it's completely impenetrable. He's like, at least with the gear I have right here. And basically, he's like, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna head towards those ships. So the way you guys are split up now on either side of this barrier is that you guys can head up the side of the ring that will lead towards the sand, and they can head up towards the ships. And he says, we'll split up and search the ring, and we'll also, there's a good chance that, maybe he's hidden in those places. So they're just going to check out the whole other side of the planet.
Cool.
And they head off. They head off in the way, Chester being very, very optimistic and positive about. They are heading in the direction of the pterodactyl people, though. But at least you now know the pterodactyl people can't come through that barrier. So you got that going for you.
Thanks.
I warned
Let's
Chester
see.
about getting too
There
close.
is any number of mundane gear that would be in the PHB, like old school rope, backpacks. So you can suit up with some adventure style gear. There's probably
I'll take a grappling hook of some kind if there's something around.
there's no grappling. There's old school grappling hooks. There's a hook. There's a hook with a rope, but there's no
Cool.
Like some rope
with a
some
hook.
pittons.
Yeah, some
10-foot
pittons.
pole.
There are no 10-foot poles,
Ah.
unfortunately. But I feel like you've got a mage hand, so right.
A wooden
you don't have to
boomerang?
No.
Actually,
Spells.
roll an investigation. What'd you roll? Did you roll one?
I did not.
I'm gonna try some of your sangria.
Down by the ship, you're kind of standing here okay, well, they walked off and you're looking around. You notice that there is a lantern that is glowing like a soft blue light. It's hanging near the edge of the property by the pool. And you're like, why is there a lantern? This place is always bright. And you walk over to it, and this lantern is a ghost lantern. So it's a magic item. Ghost lantern. This be cool. What page page is it on? What page? 206. Of course. Alright, the Ghost Lantern. It's a wondrous item. It's rare and it requires attunement, which you can attune to it right now during this time if you'd like to. You can also take a short rest during this time if you guys, I don't know, you don't need to heal. There is a restless spirit trapped inside of this lantern. While holding the lantern, you can command the spirit as a bonus action to shed a bright light of 30 feet and a dim light of additional 60 feet. While holding the lantern, you can use an action to order the spirit to leave the lantern and duplicate the effect of a mage hand spell. The spirit returns to the lantern when the spell ends. If you fall unconscious within 10 feet of the lantern, the spirit emerges from it and magically stabilizes you with a touch, and then quickly returns to the lantern.
Great.
Makes me think of a Poe in Zelda.
A spirit bound to the lantern can't be harmed, turned, or raised from the dead. Casting Dispel Evil or good and good on the lantern causes it to go on to the afterlife and turns the lantern into a non-magical lantern. So it's just a nice thing you can do for it.
Put that on my belt.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and it's just kind of once you pick it up and then once you attune with it, then it darkens, and then you can it's a bonus action. You can make it
okay.
Make it turn on and turn off, and then as an action you can use the mage hand effect.
Cool.
Okay.
Can I talk to the spirit?
It can only it can communicate, but only in like
Blinks of light.
Blinks of light.
Yes.
And it doesn't have like a true sentience. It isn't like a sentient magic item. It's more like there's a thing trapped inside of it. So it's like it wants to emote with you, but the magic that's holding it prevents it from being fully able to do so.
Which is definitely the first question that I asked. Can you emote with me? And it's just like sad news.
It can't even really respond to like a one for yes, two for no kind of thing. It can just kind of, it's like Stranger Things. Like you can just sense that there's something there and that it's trying to talk to you, but
it's all right, boy.
All right. Cool. You guys want to do anything else? You were also looking. You rolled a 19. 18. What'd you say for your investigation?
17.
You notice when you're inspecting the a pantry, like just going through supplies, that there is a box that is moving, and a little crate, and it something burst out from underneath it and runs past you and leaps at 10.
Can I react?
Yeah.
Is it close to me? Can I just like block it, or do I need to?
It jumps right past you. If you want to use, you can try to grapple it if you want to.
Okay. Is this a dash action per chance?
No, it's just an action.
Okay.
Dash action involves you moving your speed again.
Okay.
It's all dash.
Yeah, I'll just try to
That's all
grapple
dash
it.
does.
22.
Yeah, you reach out and you pluck this oversized bunny out of the air. This bunny has a unicorn horn. It's called a Almirage. And it is a little unicorn bunny.
Oh.
And you put it down maybe, or you can hold it.
No, I'm holding it.
Okay.
Unless it's like, is it trying to attack me?
No, you have it by the back of its neck, and it's like trying to run in the air. It's not very smart. It's about as intelligent as a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And if you set it down and try to leave it, it starts to follow you around. So you can hold on to that. You cannot command it to do anything. But those are stats.
Even cuter than us, I thought.
Yeah. Almirage. Small beast.
Oh man, we're gonna have to
That's cute.
sacrifice it to something.
Oh,
I can just see that happening already.
And other than that, I mean, you spend about an hour in the house, and any more than that, and you're just wasting Adam's body. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any clear list of things we're supposed to do? I mean, he said we were supposed to do a certain number of things.
He says that you are to find your friend in time and survive. That
Right.
very vague. You got an implication that there is something. He said something about collecting trophies. Basically, yes, there is a score that he's keeping, but he did not tell you what it is.
Right.
He's not interested in. He wants
playing a game that we don't know the rules.
Yeah, the game. Half the game is scrambling to figure out how the game works.
Do we wait here and see what happens, or do we go room to room?
Well, I think we've been room
Yeah,
to room.
we
I
go
believe
beyond.
we're going
Yeah, you've gone through this whole whole
jungle to jungle.
Yeah.
If we want to
There
reference
we
a
go.
different
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Jungle.
I'd like to spend the 10 minutes that they clearly spend looking at this bunny with a horn, casting Phantom Steed.
Cool.
Wonderful.
I don't know if that has different effects in space, or if it's just a quasi-real horse-like creature.
It is a quasi-real horse-like creature.
Great.
The take forever. You'll be attuned by the time he finds it. Jimmy's on here. Jake can't wait to kill it. Yeah, that's true. I can't wait to kill your bunny. Give you something sweet so I can kill it. It's the John Wick thing.
Oh man. Yes. Oh man, she's gonna snap.
You see that a small
dark for Lucy.
like path on the edge of the plateau that will be just small. It's like a little goat pass. You could just get your horse, your phantom horse, up there because it's not a full-fledged living creature, and but you'll have to travel at a slow speed to get to the bottom. Do you guys want to set off into the jungle?
That seems to be the option.
That is the option, yeah.
We do.
I mean, unless you got magic bullshit you want to do. I mean, you can. The rules.
I don't need magic or bullshit.
The rules are only meant as a guideline. He said something kind of cryptic like that. Like,
is there a background to where he was sitting in the hologram, or was it just him and the ring?
Yes, there was. It was. He was sitting in a very. Another thing that you notice once he disappeared, his body goes, and then the seat he's sitting in was a ancient stone forged throne of some sort.
Okay. I'm going to class clairvoyance, creating an invisible sensor on that seat as a location that's familiar to
I know.
me.
Okay. I like it.
Cramming her
And
throat
I just
into
want
the
to hear
entertainment.
or
I was
see
trying to,
what's going on there.
You get to
also.
pick.
my
Yeah.
left eye,
Yeah,
that's
and
fine.
basically I'll look first, and if it looks like there are things I can hear, I'll switch.
You see in the room, it is a cold, empty space with old limestone blocks that have been worn by the sands of time and the black sands that fill this space. Inside the room, you see the hunter. He's back to you. Kind of turns, puts his helmet on, and walks over towards the sensor, and then just kind of looks, and then he leaves the room.
Okay. I would like. Well, no, I already know what a spear looks like, correct?
Actually, you notice that right now his spear, you see the blade. It's actually now the size of a knife.
Okay.
So yeah,
Cool. Even better.
clearly can adjust that little bad boy.
And then I'm obviously getting the sense that this is in that black sand desert.
Yeah,
probably
100%.
in that temple that we saw.
And your guess is that probably his villa. He's a vampire. So
Okay.
this
Right.
place that you're in right now is the guest house, and
Cool.
it's a place where.
And that's on the way to where we're going anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big circle, so yeah, you're gonna hit all the places eventually,
Right.
even if he's not there.
All right.
So you head off into the jungle. It is about midday. Well, let's see. It's still the first. Let's see. I'm gonna retcon and say that you guys got a full rest when you were knocked out.
Great.
So you guys can have your
I
full hit
wondered
points.
about
And all your magic's back. And that you do notice the magic.
Untouched.
Your magic comes back to you as if this was an actual planet. So there's something very unique about this place. Arcane gates don't have those features. They're just mechanical things that bend space.
Do you want me to try to locate Adam?
Yeah, locate creature.
Yeah.
Or is that what you did
Because
last
it's
time?
but it's specific. It's a familiar creature.
Yeah, I mean, see if we know where he is. I bet he's...
Sends direction to location and
It's
movement
directly
of
behind the
familiar
glass.
creature within 1,000
All the
feet.
way around. You sense out, burn the spell. You feel yourself moving, your mind moving through the jungle, and then it happens even quicker than you expected. It's less of a pull and more like your mind is being pulled towards something very quickly. And the camera, without even being able to tell where anything is, orienting yourself, you just see Adam's face, and he looks up and he's sobbing. He's all bent over. A big chunk of him is missing, and he's in a dark space. And make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Ready. Right
Magic
14.
bullshit.
No. 24.
Okay.
That's a little different.
You feel a surge of arcane feedback, as if someone has... There's some sort of magical barrier that is protecting you, protecting Adam from your spells of location.
Okay.
And you can tell that they're booby-trapped. So something just tried to... You attempting to connect with him tried to have like a negative effect. You don't really know exactly what it was. You were able to like stave it off, and like in your mind, I see like circuits reconnecting, like you were bypassing the effect or something like that. But
so like the Neo dodging bullets, but like mechanically,
like in your mind.
Yeah.
So as you guys make your way into the jungle, you notice. One thing, it starts to rain profusely. So much so that you're going to have disadvantage on perception checks as you move through the rain anytime it's raining. The rain could get even worse, and there would be other disadvantages. But right now it's just a kind of a light rain. And the rain, as soon as it hits the dirt, it's so hot here, it causes it to almost immediately form a mist, a steam that kind of floats through. It's very humid. You can see that basically this whole place, despite its natural presence, is all artificial, or at least its construction was. It has a very theme park vibe to it. There are real trees, it's real rocks, but you can tell that somebody wanted those trees there, wanted those rocks there.
Scary Disney.
The traveling paths, as such, basically line up that you can walk on the tree line. There is a ridge that kind of wanders up and through. Parts of it are bridge, parts of it are natural stone, and it literally will take you up over the tree line and down into it. You could see these little peaks of it as you were looking at earlier, and now you can just see them. And then there is a path that is at the ground floor of the rainforest. And then there are a series, there's a big cave as you are making your way down. So basically there's a high, middle, and a low option. And you guys know that from the way it looks that you don't have to commit to one. So as you kind of move through the space, you can change the direction you want to go. But obviously different types of threats, different types of things coming. If you go into the tunnels, there's bound to be more traps. In the top, in the open air, you are exposed, and in the jungle, that's where all the big predators are going to be. Traditionally speaking.
Burn it down.
Ooh.
Do you have fire?
I have a wall of fire.
Woo.
You want to attempt to burn the
Fire.
You do realize that Adam, by your own admission, is somewhere in the jungle.
Protected by spells of some sort.
divination spells.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably not.
Probably not
You
getting
saw
burned
his
to death.
condition and all the pieces of his body. He can be hurt.
You knew that he was sitting in blackness in your mind, not because he's in a black room or dark room, but because you can't visualize the space around
see,
you.
I thought he was maybe in the cave, so I was
Yeah,
just gonna
yeah.
burn everything down.
No. You would not. Yeah, you would not get that. You were like specifically know that you were being blocked. Access denied.
Direct is expected, but maybe that's a later option.
Okay,
sure.
I'll hold on to that.
Plan C, maybe.
Well, let's take the high road, and then maybe we'll take the low road, and then we'll be in Scotland.
Probably.
What? No.
No.
What?
Can we climb
Oh,
up
sorry.
the tree?
The Highlands. Okay. Yeah. So you want to take the high road at first?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you're not going to be able to take your horse up.
That's
this way.
It's,
So
it's an invisible fountain.
Does it? How long does the spell last until you
It
like?
lasts an hour, and it's a ritual.
Okay,
So
so-
I'll
it's a ritual. Okay.
yeah. That did.
So you dismiss it. It just disappears. As you make your way up this stone bridge, this very old stone bridge. It looks old once again. So much of this stuff. This is a very old structure, but you can tell that the maintenance of this place, that there's too much formula here for this to be a natural growth and progression. There's something unnatural about all the naturalness here. Maybe it makes you feel better about it as you're walking around.
Actually, yeah.
Like you can tell that
We're
like
starting to relax.
even behind stones you can scrape the dirt and you can feel the hum of the Megadwarf technology. This is because of that. It's just kind of a strange mishmash of different things. You climb up what used to be probably a tower that is connected to this bridge that will lead up over this tree line and towards you see like a big clearing
over here.
in the distance
Maybe.
towards the north. And as you turn, there is a adventurer. There's like a dead skeleton in a suit of armor. It's got like rusty old sword, and just kind of like hunched over there as you guys are walking by. There's a body.
I'll activate my magical ghost lantern and tap him.
And it flies over and kunk, taps him in the head. And when that happens, the head just like flunk, falls over, and out from behind it, like a little it looks like a koala, like an alien koala. Kind of pops out and is like, and like tries to like scamper down into the armor. The armor on this thing, by the way, is very interesting. It does not look like metal. It looks like it's made out of like a bug's like skin, like a giant scorpion that someone like turned into armor. And it kind of like burrows down back into, and it's inside the bag, this old decaying bag, and it's like shoveling like whatever's inside the bag into its mouth.
So I'm not going to tell you how I know how to do this, but if you want to talk to that dead thing, it's an option.
You can talk to dead things?
Sort of. And here again, I don't want to get into details here, but if you thought it might be useful.
I don't feel like you can just start that sort of info dump with, I'm not going to tell you why, but we can talk dead stuff. So, I'm not really sure why you thought I would want to talk to a dead thing
I was just
either.
offering.
Do you want to?
Question.
I mean, that's a very like I feel like very 7 of 9. Like, I'm sure it has information. You just like you can just.
Yeah.
It's just a computer that like you know.
Retrieve information.
Do you want to go ahead and turn it on and talk to it?
Yeah, why not? I haven't had the opportunity. Here we are. Let's do it.
Restore pages.
Awesome.
Restore.
Very best can't go there.
As you reach
Restore
down
backup.
to cast a spell, before you do cast a spell, this tiny little like half panda, half koala bear with an underbite leaps out at your arm territorially, like why are you on my stuff, and is going to attack you.
Oh no.
What's your AC?
22.
Cool. It scratches you with its claws, and you can feel as it's ripping through the metal, like it's ripping through the metal, like as if you were tinfoil.
What a little shit.
Yeah. You're gonna take Ooh, snake eyes. You're gonna take 3 slashing damage. But you gotta make me a dex saving throw, please. It's digging into your armor's like critical systems.
14.
Okay, cool. You're able to throw it off. Cool. Yeah, you're able to throw it off before it does any serious damage. But this thing is like extra dangerous to non-organic material.
How is Poe reacting to this? Poe is the name of this Almirage, by the way.
You don't name things that are clearly going to die.
It squawks and squeals.
I've become rather optimistic.
And it runs up your back very awkwardly and scratches your back up and does no physical damage, but pushes itself up under your jacket.
I was just scared of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing is called a Zorbo, by the way.
A Zorbo.
Greek.
Zorbo the Greek. Tell you what. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll be right back.
Quick break.
Go.
gosh, you're getting eaten.
Oh, we're back.
No! Being
All right.
eaten by a koala.
So, as it kind of pushes back, the little thing, it just scampers off. It's, you just...
Now it's leaving?
Yeah, you just provoked it.
You could.
She spent this whole break figuring out how she's gonna destroy this
You
thing.
can, it's not trying to engage you. It knows that you're much bigger than it. That it was reacting out of like fear. It's not like a smart thing.
No, whatever.
But you can try to kill it if you want to.
I don't even care.
All
Let
right.
it go.
All right.
Kick it.
Yeah, I kick it.
All right, you kick it, and he flies off the stairs, and you probably kill it. Let's be honest.
No.
That was rude.
Have a hero point.
It scared her.
All right, you want to go ahead and cast Speak with Dad with the.
Yes.
With the creepy skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do this gross thing you're gonna do.
All right, you go ahead and
Y'all
you do.
turn away.
When you do, you put the head back on the body, and you cast the spell, and I imagine that like lots of little wires. And
Yeah,
things.
it's got to be an electrical situation.
Yeah, like you like plug it up, and then you like jolt it, and then it's like where am I? It yells without lips.
Oh my god.
We can ask it 5
I've never
questions.
seen this shit before.
And it knows only what it knew in life. How far did you get in the game?
Like 5 feet. We're right here. You don't
No,
know.
I just want to know what what things he did in the
He
game.
says, "We made it this far before my entire party was killed."
Yeah, but like, what
killed you?
What did you do before that?
He said, "You have to move faster than the hunter."
So dallying around, talking to death.
This is
Ah,
probably not good.
But we've got 3 more
Probably-
questions.
I see what you mean.
How
What was
did
it
the
that killed
hunter-
you?
Like,
Sorry.
how? Let's go with how.
How?
What is
How?
in a space situation.
Dinosaurs in a space situation.
So you're asking the questions. About other questions?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How did he die?
Furthermore, why?
He said we lingered too slowly. We set up camp. Our mage needed to heal. Needed to regain his spells before he could travel on. Talking real heavy and like old school. This guy's been here a long time.
Yeah.
That's who. I want more specifically the details of like how he got you.
He set you all on fire. He sliced your.
He's a deft combatant and skillful fighter, and he came out of the shadows and stabbed everybody.
Stabbed everyone.
Everybody roll a perception.
Yeah, I was gonna say this monk's gonna keep a keen eye out, bitch.
Nope.
I'm gonna
7.
roll that one again.
Oh, that beautiful
25.
Woo,
Nice.
girl. Okay, go ahead. 14.
Yeah. Enthralled by the stabbing. She's playing Pong.
I was gonna say I was bored with this conversation. That's why I'm paying attention to other things happening.
Oh my god, where is it? Where the fuck is this?
Well, I'm glad I could show off
Okay.
bringing this guy to life.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm glad you
yeah.
didn't do
He's like, oh no, he's right behind you,
Oh,
and
God,
jumping
okay.
out of the air, like as if from an invisible platform in the sky.
Interesting.
Yeah, out of nowhere, seemingly.
Out of nowhere.
I'm ready.
None of my stuff works. None of my stuff ever works when I want it to.
Space.
I quit.
Oh. He'll kill every one of us.
I'll kill every one of you. You'll kill every one of us. Alright.
I'm gonna. I mean, since he pointed him out to us, would we have time to respond?
Yeah, roll initiative.
Yeah.
You got just enough time to respond. He was just going to stab you in the back while you were talking to
Right.
the thing.
Yeah.
So you got that going for you.
Sweet.
18.
21.
23.
I thought my 18 was
Yeah. 23.
Yeah.
23 goes. And he leaps out,
Sweet.
and he's right on top of you guys. And you're all like on
Okay.
a 15 foot by 15 foot like little stone dais that's kind of like suspended 30 or 40 feet above the ground. You're just like on this. It's an old tower, and it leads up. There's steps that lead up onto a bridge. that
Can
you
I
guys
just tell you what I imagine happening?
Yeah, you can tell me whatever you
He
want.
tries to. He's like jumping. or
He's
like
got his spear out.
jumping.
Yeah, he's
Okay. Is there a way I can like roll with him? Like basically have him land on me
What do you
and
want to
me
do?
grapple him basically?
Yeah. You can flavor the grapple if you succeed any way you want to, but
Yeah.
you just
I
want
see
to
him
grapple him.
landing and we go like
Okay, so you're trying to grapple him, not attack him.
yes.
Okay, cool. Because don't you get a grapple as a bonus action if you attack? Because of your tavern brawler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, that's not part of it.
Yes, it is. That's me telling you that it's part.
Oh,
of it.
okay.
That's exactly how that works. I
Sorry.
just wanted you to know that if you wanted to, you
I
can.
thought you were asking me.
I was leading you. You can spend an action and grapple him, or you can attack him and also grapple him.
Oh, I see.
So as a monk, it would be for what you have. You're gonna want to at least
Yes.
hit him once, then grapple him, and then drag
Okay,
him.
cool. Then my attack first is a 17 to hit.
Okay, that does not hit.
Oh, damn. Okay. Then what about... Woof. Then that one doesn't either.
Okay. And as a bonus action, you can grapple him. So you go to strike, and he just like lands right in front of you and like lunges forward, like shifting his weight, like he was going for her, and instead is right at you, and you miss the attack. But you can go ahead and make a strength check, or you can use a dex check if you want to.
21. Just dex.
Yeah, and you just like get him in a headlock, and then he tries to reverse it on you, and then you push back, and then he's right in the middle of all of you, and he's got his spear, and he's got easily 10 feet of reach with it, so he does not have to be right next to you to attack.
No.
All right, you can pass the turn. He's got a very much like a defensive, like he's you can't read his obviously his face because he's wearing a mask, but you can pass it.
Take it away, wizard.
How big did you say this thing was?
This he is a regular size.
I'm sorry, the
20 feet.
20 feet.
20 by 20.
He's basically right in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I said 15. So he's got 10 feet of reach, and you have a 5-foot perimeter that you can move around. That's what I said. It was 15.
So it's a 15 radius.
Yes.
Okay. That means that doesn't work. I'm gonna mind spike him.
Do it.
So looking him straight in his eyes, and he needs to make a wisdom save.
What's your spell save?
16.
He fails.
So he's gonna take.
But he's going to choose to succeed.
No.
Okay. Well, he's still gonna take some amount of damage.
Good.
9 plus 5, 15 psychic damage.
15 total, 15 half.
Half of 15, if you're correct. So 8.
Cool. And the psychic damage is, you can tell, disorients him. So it's actually very effective. He was not expecting that from you. He kind of is knocked off balance, and he's going to use his interrupt point and is going to attack you.
Okay.
Unless you have more on your turn.
No, that's basically all I'm gonna do. Just stay out of his reach.
Gotcha.
He moves into my
So
reach.
he moves up to attack you. What's your AC?
It's a 17.
He misses you, as you're able to just see the variety of ways that he's going to attack you, and you just kind of like just barely dodge it. And he, with a spin, he kind of whips around, and he's going to strike at you.
Me?
Yes.
Rude.
You don't roll anything. He just misses you.
Oh.
He's not rolling very well. Okay. And then that's all he can do, kids. Oh no, that's not true. This guy's got all sorts of crazy stuff. He's going to attack you.
Okay, cool.
What's your AC?
19.
Finally, hit somebody. He strikes at you, and you are going to take. Nice. You're going to take 16 slashing damage. Awesome.
Okay.
And you are bleeding.
Oh no. How much damage? I'm sorry. 18?
16.
16?
And that's his turn.
Okay.
I will command.
Nice. Wisdom save? Intelligence save.
Well, I think it's wisdom. Where did they go? Wisdom save.
What's your spell save?
Oh goodness.
He rolls a 5.
Okay. He does.
Spell save.
You just
I don't
what were you casting? Command?
Command.
Yeah, you
16.
you literally
16 is my spell save.
Okay. Well, he rolled a 5 is what the portent says. And he
We
fails.
found it though.
So what do you command him to do?
Would go to sleep work in this situation?
The command is it has to be like a command is a like I am dominating your will for like 1 round. So you can make
something.
someone drop something, stop, kneel, but you can't like change their state of consciousness. You can't like be unconscious because
But I could make
it would
him...
be over in 6 seconds. So you could make him fall asleep for.
Distract him. Make him just.
This big stabby thing that's all magical and evil.
I'm wanting him to lay down. Is what I'm trying to do.
You can have him.
It's fine.
Yeah, if you say that, he will literally use his reaction and fall prone.
That's
So, yeah.
That's what I want.
You're like down,
Stay
and he just
prone.
like lands on the ground. What else do you want to do?
Well, we have all these ropes.
Yes.
I
I think we've got about 6 seconds.
You don't think we can time up in 6 seconds? I think we can time up in 6 seconds.
I'm a fucking monk. We can time up in 6
I
seconds.
mean, you have until his turn. I don't.
Yeah, no, do what you're gonna do.
I tie him up in 6 seconds.
Awesome.
Yes, girl.
Well, no, you can't because you've used your action already. But it is
I could.
her turn. So yeah, you can throw the rope, and then
Can I use one of my actions to time up?
you have 1 action all the time. You never have more than 1 action.
Oh, I just have 2 attacks.
Mhm.
I see.
So an object interaction, doing
Gotcha.
this thing eats up your action. But
I
you
gotcha.
can, but you can roll a dex check for me, and we'll see how good you tie that. That will bow up.
Just a regular dex check?
Yeah.
13.
Okay, cool. So that's the DC of the rope.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You tied
Gotcha.
it. You tied it 13's worth, which is a little better than average. All right. So he's tied up. You want to do anything else on your turn? You got bonus actions.
Yeah, can I attack as a bonus action?
Nope. You can only attack as a bonus action if you've already made.
I've already made my
an
attack.
Yeah.
Use another rope. Tie him up again.
Do I? Okay.
You can do some things as a bonus action.
Here,
You cannot do that.
Oh, okay.
That is not a thing you can do. You have a list of things you can do as a bonus action.
I only have one thing I can do as a Well,
You
hold
can-
on. I can
you-
spend a key point.
You have tons of things you can do as a bonus
Okay.
action. I just don't know if any of them are applicable. I don't know if you have any more things.
Let me see. Let me check one thing. I would like to see if I can spend a key point to.
Time up? No.
No. When I hit another creature with a melee weapon attack. Okay, no, so I can't do that. These key require me to hit
Okay.
to do that.
Alright.
But I will. No, I'm
so-
gonna stay there with him. I'm gonna hold it.
Okay. I'll let you do your bonus
Time
action
up.
grapple since you can make another
Okay.
dex check against him.
Okay.
I'll make this with disadvantage
Get him in a headlock or
because you
something.
got him tied up. Yeah.
Since I can't hit him in the head, can I at least?
No, you can. Yeah, you can grapple. Do Cabin Brawler.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's bending it a little bit. But that's
17.
yeah, you've got him pinned pretty good. His hands tied behind his back. He is unable to move.
Okay.
You do anything else?
That's all I can do.
At the end of your turn, he is going to strike you with his legs.
Okay.
And he just misses you. He's just the worst at this. He's not very good. Bad guy, he sucks.
He
I
had a
laugh
cold
at
or
him.
something. It's
Yeah,
a
he's
real
not- he's
shame.
not
Wasn't
doing
his
too
day.
Okay, then never you mind. That was the end of his turn. Who's next?
It's me.
Okay, go ahead.
Is his weapon on the ground?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'd like to pick that up with one hand. It's a spear right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's no immediate make it into a dagger button that's real obvious.
It doesn't have buttons at all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna hold that in
Cool.
one
Make a
hand.
Constitution saving throw.
Great. I have things. No, that's just a plus. I'm gonna left point that.
Or sorry, it's a dex saving throw, not a Constitution.
Well, I was still looking at 16. Yeah, 16.
Oh.
Okay, you fail.
Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8.
As the staff just erupts electricity. It's just
Okay.
set up to. It's booby trapped, baby. 10, 20, 30, 35. You're gonna take 37 lightning damage.
Nice.
How many bullets you got left?
Several.
I'm not telling you. He says, "You'll kill me."
I believe it's about 15.
Awesome.
Is it looking like it's going to continue to shock me, or is this a
No.
one-time
Once you like, if you hold on to it, you can make me a Constitution save now to see if you're able to hold on to it. It gets to do a lot of electricity.
15.
Yeah, you're able to.
Okay. And I'm going to keep holding on to
Yeah,
it.
you've got it now. The electric. It's a one-time.
Great. Just wanted to make sure that this wasn't.
Yeah, you're not gonna keep electrocuting yourself as you
Great.
holding it with your gloved hand. What do you want to do?
Oh, could I have used absorb elements as a reaction on that because it's lightning damage?
Is it a reaction spell?
It is a reaction.
Yeah,
spell.
for sure.
So I would have taken half
Yeah,
damage.
take
on
half
that
damage from it.
37,
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah, your glove just absorbs.
what's half? I'll figure that out in a minute. I'm just gonna leave that there.
7, 15, 16.
And then I'm going to kind of worm it over and pull my dagger out of my hand where that lightning balls up into, and as he's prone, I'm just going to stab him.
Awesome. Go ahead and
I get my advantage.
get your advantage.
Sweet.
Come on, useless things. That's a 19 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. So good. It's a whopping 12 damage, some of which is piercing and some is lightning. I can figure that out if you'd like me to.
Don't need you to.
Okay.
Is your dagger magical?
It is not, although it's full of lightning. Okay.
That's what I do. So it'll be 9 damage total.
Okay.
And you can tell that. Your keen
Yeah.
magical eye. Cool. He's going to. You have anything else on your turn?
I'm gonna back up.
Yeah. As you start to back up at the end of your turn, you move out of striking range, and you see him. He's going to try to break his binds with disadvantage because you're on his back right now, and he is not able to get out of it. You push his head back down and you crack his helmet. The lens
With
on
my
this
elbow.
eye just like stops glowing, just like cracks through. And you hear him go. You got a helmet on. Just can't hear everything. Okay, cool. He's going to go spin an interrupt point. He's going to take his turn. And he is going to use one of his actions to break that shit. So this he has a disadvantage. Oh fuck.
Oh!
Yeah, you smash the helmet into the ground, and when you do, you break the lens, and you pull his head back up, and as soon
rip
as
the helmet off?
you don't quite. You try to. You start pulling it back, and you just start peeling it through, but it's this like really dense carbon fiber. You can't rip it with your hands. And you start pulling it as you whip his head back, and the light shines through. You notice 2 things. This is the Baron himself. This is not some other
hunter.
Yeah, this is the hunter.
It's
Is
not him.
The hunter is him.
That son of a bitch.
And he obviously you notice that because he starts screaming as soon as the sunlight enters. He's a vampire.
Obvi.
And he, as a reaction, is going to turn into a cloud of mist.
Oh, cool.
And he folds away into
Just out
like
of my
the lower
hands.
level below you guys. Yeah. And basically disappears, and that's the end of combat.
And you see maybe the most emotion you've ever seen out of Lucy. She kind of lets out a guttural like, "Argh!" Mad that he got away.
Roll me a survival, a history, or a investigation.
Is this everybody?
Everybody. Gleaning things from combat.
19.
Okay.
25
Okay.
investigation.
Cool.
18 history,
Okay.
just for fun.
It's fine. It's like a group check. So
Or-
you,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
you all
That's
without
what-
even like putting two and two together, all kind of confirm your notes. You're like, if he's a vampire, then all the damage we did to him, he's just so powerful. He's healing. So
Yeah.
every bit of damage
gonna
you
come
did to him was undone by the time his turn started again.
That's annoying.
Yeah,
How do you
so
kill a vampire? I mean, this vampire right here, right now in this setting.
you rolled a 25.
Yeah.
You would know that
'Cause, like,
there are things that weaken a vampire, but to kill a vampire, that's one for pretty big. You know that there are 4 laws that vampires have to stick to. Forbiddance. They can't enter a residence without an invitation from one of the occupants. That would include your little drop ship.
Ooh.
Harmed by running water. Can't be inside running water, like a lake or a river. It's just dangerous for them.
Or a shower.
Or a shower, can't take a shower.
Okay.
Stake to the heart. You know that a stake inside of a vampire's heart while they're incapacitated in their resting place. So when they are resting in their resting place and you put a stake in their heart, it will paralyze them. So basically they become inert.
Cool.
It doesn't kill them, it just stops them from being able to wake up.
I have that knife sharpener steak in my jacket.
Knife sharpener stake?
Whatever that was that I stole from the pantry. You know
I
that
think you stole
that
my
big
wooden.
steel rod that you.
Yeah.
Sharpen
That's
a knife
it's gotta be a wooden stake.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's fine. You can find wood though.
We're gonna find
Big
wood in this
mess.
How are you
forest.
gonna find wood in this forest?
Oh, where can we
Um,
ever find wood out here?
And also sunlight sensitivity. So
Mm-hmm.
you could see like his eye was like melting. So the easiest way to kill this guy is going to be
Drag him out there.
going to be rip his armor off inside of this the perpetual sunlight. That's why he wears that armor while he's hunting. But it is made of like a carbon fiber, so you can't like heat metal it or any of like those conventional.
Gotcha.
Why would you? Why would you mention
Oh,
that?
Metal is the best.
All right, cool. So with that, yeah, you pretty much see the obvious danger of taking the hide path. It is the quickest path, and it's the one that if he's just scooting along on some sort of magical, invisible floating thing, that he can just follow you around. So you can continue to move on the top level, and I will basically on the top level you skip 3 encounters. On the second level, you skip 2 encounters, and on the bottom level, it's the slowest one. You have to get every encounter that you go across, but the encounters are more dangerous
Right.
the higher you are.
I'm not really worried about him. We can deal with that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Roll better.
All right.
Is there anything noticeable about this great spear that I have now?
It's not in your hand anymore.
Oh,
No.
That's so lame.
Yeah, it turned to mist as
Poor
well.
Nathan.
Lame times.
Yeah. I'll let you have tried to use a magical something or other to stop that from happening, so you can have claimed it. But if you didn't have a way to intercede, it just will have drifted away. So if you have like a magic circle or something like that.
I mean, could I have counterspelled it disappearing?
How many hero points you got?
I got 2.
Give me both those hero points.
Alrighty.
I'll let you have cast counterspell.
Huh?
And just pushing out with the magic, you were able to basically block his connection to it. And you severed his attunement to it.
Hooray!
Nice.
And it is a magical dagger. It's a +1 to attack and damage. It requires attunement to be able to turn it into a spear, but it requires no action to turn it into a spear or out of a spear, and it has returning.
Okay. So it's a dagger with returning because I'm not capable of using spears. So great. Perfect. Thank you.
Sweet.
Magic dagger.
Still his fucking dagger. Make him run away.
Get out of here.
Yeah, here.
How long has it been right now?
He's only been since he left, or
Yeah, since he left.
maybe 5 minutes. You're just kind of like collecting yourselves. As I see it, this is like you're constantly having to move.
Okay.
So you guys can keep heading down so you're gonna stay up on the bridge, go up the bridge the way you wanted to go. Yeah.
Just stay on top.
Yeah.
Sure. As you guys get up above the tree line,
We're moving fast.
the rain starts to get even heavier.
Is this running water?
Now.
Oh, yeah. Is it?
Yeah, but he's got his armor on. So,
Ah.
yeah. The
Gotcha,
armor.
gotcha.
The armor is his
First and foremost,
anti-vampire.
he's gotta
His helmet,
take that off.
reformed.
Well, he's gone now. He turned to mist, so he's fine as long as the mist thing is what they do as as a oh no problem. Like I think they're pretty much. It happens when they hit 0 hit points normally. So
Yeah.
I don't think he can be harmed while he's in his mist.
Okay, and I guess we'll figure out if the helmet's fixed when he comes back.
Right.
It's fixed.
My guess would be that it's probably fixed. My guess is that this guy has 100 of these costumes. This is what this fucking guy does.
He's going to his Doug Funny closet.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, he doesn't even use magic to repair them. He just has more of them. It's Batman.
He's crazy.
Batman. All right. So as you are walking across this bridge, it leads down to a rocky outcropping that is in line with the top of the trees, and it provides a little bit of cover. It's going to give you disadvantage. We already have disadvantage on perception checks. And with the rain coming through, any ranged attacks you make right now are going to have disadvantage because it's starting to storm even more. We have a dagger with returning now. And she's got a gun. Roll me a D4, somebody. I don't care who.
I want to do it. I want to do
You got it. You got it.
Well, that beautiful.
Yeah.
4.
You're all dead.
As you you continue to move on this rocky outcrop, you pass below. You see the bones of a gargantuan beast. You can't tell what. It's very old, but it's like a big graveyard for maybe a bunch of animals or a giant animal. Elephants, but they're like 5 times the size of that.
Does the light touch there?
The light does touch there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so
then it's ours.
That's yours. What the
Take it.
cousins? You continue to move past that. The path leads down through a series of archways of natural formation. But as we pointed out, that this is like you're being led down a path now. It's going to move you back up out of the tree line, and directly in front of you is a large-sized snail. It's got a shimmering, iridescent giant shell, and its eyes it doesn't really have eyes so much as it has these tendrils, and they look like flails. Roll me a nature.
10.
It's a flail snail.
Oh.
Flail snail?
Yep.
Yeah, you know, a flail snail.
Okay,
with flails.
It is munching on some algae that's growing off of a rock, and does not seem to be interested in you, but it is blocking the path. Its big old snail butt is in the snail way, and you wanted to get the snail out of the way, but it won't without you interacting with it. Where did I put my snail flail?
Where did I put?
Where's my snail?
Where's my snail flail? Moss.
Moss.
Just
So
gonna-
cute. Looks like bird.
I'll just use the book.
Those
So I told
eyes.
you what it is.
Seems like we have a thing in our way.
What else now? Yeah, so basically you have to either interact with it or you can choose to climb down the rock into the the graveyard.
I mean, the graveyard looks nice. There's light down there. Is the graveyard below the canopy?
Yes, so it would effectively move you down into
Well, the question would be, does the rain seem like the canopy's absorbed?
the rain that is being absorbed. You are more exposed on the path that you're on.
Okay.
So the rain would only mess with your perception because of the mist and the heat, and it would not interfere with weapon checks. Yeah, and it just keeps eating. It's like basically up all in that space. So do you guys want to climb down, or do you want to try to animal handle this thing? You don't know much about these creatures, but like a snail, it is not aligned with anything. It doesn't have a temperament. It's just a weird
Just a
beast.
snail.
Poke it.
Yeah. I don't think poking is a good plan.
Poke it.
No, most organics don't like to be
Mm.
poked.
Any salt?
Fine.
Ooh.
Also, probably damaging. Not a thing we want to do. Now,
Got a
maybe
net?
like making more moss somewhere not in the path would be great.
Do I have anything?
How much moss is there?
Not much. He's almost eaten all of it and is starting to.
Look around.
Look
for other
around,
things
yeah.
to eat. Great. Is there any moss around us?
I can stun it.
Not.
He doesn't want to hurt it, so it
It's
won't hurt us.
not-
Maybe.
I can do.
Everybody, roll me a
very-
perception.
I could do very minimal damage to the guy and just stun him for a second.
20.
If it would help.
19.
13.
Okay, you can roll initiative as out of above the canopy with another spear.
No!
The hunter jumps down.
Is it because the music changed? Is that what?
With
is that what
stay
happened?
tuned.
No,
Yeah.
because you decided to keep talking about what you were going to do with the snail. He's literally like constantly. That is the whole thing. It's like
He's following us.
yeah. If you move too much time,
I gotcha.
he is trying to provoke you into running his obstacle course, or he's trying to kill you. He wants to see you hunt, or he wants to hunt you.
I see.
We're hunting? What do you want? Come on!
Come
Well,
on.
so if you had attacked the flail snail,
He would have been happy.
he would
What a dick. Alright.
And he basically land 12. What you
Yeah.
said? Okay, yeah. So he is going to land about 15 feet in front of you, basically blocking you in the snail flail on the other side. So your only option of moving is past him, past the flail snail, or trying to climb or descend down the side into the graveyard. He launches the spear at you.
Where'd he get the spear? He just had a closet full of these damn things.
Obviously, this is what he does, Nathan.
Another
Costume
magical dagger.
change into the same thing.
He's got.
Yeah, maybe you can collect them.
Well, that's a good question. Roll a insight for me, if you must know methods.
12.
Who made this ring that you're standing on?
Dwarves.
Yeah, the mega dwarves.
Yeah,
And this specifically is technology that bridges the time of magic and the new mega dwarf technology. So it's more magical than it is mechanical. And that's why he has all the things that he has. That entire house was made. All the art objects in it are not real. It's all fabrications. And
Why don't you tell us about the art objects, Lucy? Spear.
So yeah, so he throws a spear at you.
I don't know what you don't know.
Neither do
Magic
I.
man. Fair. Touche.
Spear.
Ah.
You're gonna take 9 slashing damage.
Did it try to hit me?
Yeah.
Can I shield for
Yes,
plus
you can.
5 AC?
For +5. Okay, it misses you. The spear, you knock it back. He throws it back into his hand, returns it to his hand, turns it into a dagger, and then leaps forward and is going to make another attack at you.
Bring it to now.
He misses, but he's going to use the momentum to dive past you. So you duck with the shield, and he literally bounces off the shield and is going to land right in front of you. Even odds. Odds is going to strike at Lucy, using the spear to extend, so he's 10 feet away from you, and is going to attack you.
I wish dodge were a reaction.
Is it not?
Doesn't that
It's an
make the
action.
most sense? To dodge as a reaction to something.
You take the dodge action, so you are focusing all of your movement on not being hit. And all it does is impose disadvantage. But it's the idea that you're using all of your action to dodge. It isn't like your AC is already incorporating you bobbing and weaving, and dodge is you being like, all I'm doing is trying not to get hit.
Right. I see.
What's your AC?
19.
Yeah, it just strikes right over your head, and you see that he doesn't. He lets go of the dagger, misses you completely, or the spear misses you completely, and it hits the flail snail right in the chitinous shell, and then he returns the dagger, and then he's going to mist away, and the snail flail is going to interrupt and run up behind you and angrily whack you with its flails.
With its snaily flails.
Quicker than expected.
With its snaily flails.
See how quick can it move?
Will you talk?
10
you say
feet.
Like that?
Runs up.
It slides up and it misses you dramatically
Oh,
with the
God.
first one. And then
Yep.
it's going
It's
to...
too slippery, too much momentum. You just kind of slid out of
Let's
control.
go.
As I see it, he kind of worked you guys back against it and then provoked it. What's your AC?
22.
Okay, misses you with the second one. Third one hits. Fourth one crits.
Oh, no.
Fifth one hits.
How many times is this thing gonna?
It's gonna hit you 4 times.
Number of flails that it has.
It has five
Are there any
flailing.
healers here? Just curious.
Lord, no. She probably could heal.
I was gonna say you are your own healer in this scenario, unfortunately.
What damages do you do? Oh, they're only D6s. You're fine. You're fine. 12. You're gonna take 17 plus. You're gonna take 26 bludgeoning damage.
Oh,
pop,
no.
pop, pop. Whack! The big critical hit.
The koala got me. The snail got me.
It's no good, man.
Let's just stop messing with animals.
The metal's being attacked out here.
I'm not listening to
But
you
I am,
anymore.
but I
What
am
did I do?
disseminating.
But let me just squash it.
The koala or the snail? The
The
snail's
snail.
bigger than you are.
Get squashed.
That means nothing.
And that's all those flails do. They don't do anything else. Okay, that's its turn.
Yeah.
Angrily smacks you.
I think if we just run away, though.
You can.
Yeah.
It moves not that quickly.
Yeah. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, we can kill this thing.
No.
Oh,
wait,
no,
we're
no,
saying
no.
not. We're just
Yes,
gonna
yes,
leave.
yes, yes. We have to keep moving.
It's a snail.
Let's run. Yeah.
Climb down the side.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of like grab you by the arms or the shoulders and just kind of like, let's run, let's go. Let's keep moving.
Cool. So you guys start climbing down the side. There are bones jutting out of the wall. Whatever died here died a long time ago. And it seems to be less like a structure that was placed. Something died here and things have grown around it. And you're able to like climb down the vine. So it does not require a check. You guys just move at half your speed. The snail follows you and then leaves because it can't climb down the thing. I don't think it's spider climb or anything like that. Nope. So it just leaves. You're fine. And you climb down into the bone graveyard, mysterious animal graveyard. Once you guys, you want to just take off running,
Walking.
walking.
briskly.
And a
No,
ginger
Not in
pace.
a rush.
Okay,
It's
cool.
a ginger pace, a redhead.
A ginger face.
We're
I get what
smart,
you mean.
Robot.
Wait, you're confusing me. That's an expression?
Well, gingerly, like a redhead.
Gingerly.
A ginger pace is not a thing.
Pace of.
But even gingerly
At the
sounds
pace of
kinda
ginger.
slow.
You guys start kind of making your way through these bones.
Poe's here too. Sorry, just saying.
Little rabbit.
I'm imagining the rabbit's still here.
Nice.
In case later you're like, you haven't talked about
The
it
rabbit,
in an
no, the
hour.
rabbit runs up in front of you. It starts like walking around. There's little patches of grass, and it's eating the grass. And it
Does
like
it die from
puts
eating
up
the
its
grass?
puts up its ears. No, it's from this place. It kind of hops up in front of you and like rounds a corner. A big, like tusky, yeah, like a big elephant skull. I love that. I mean, why not? You said
Cool.
it. I like it. It's in my
Cool.
head now. It's like a 6-tusked like mastodon creature.
Mastodon.
It was like
I
a
like
gargantuan size thing. The bunny kind of goes around the corner. You see its little tail, and it hops off, and you guys are walking up towards it. You
Here
hear
it is
then
again for
a.
anyone who wants to see him.
You hear a.
Okay.
And the bunny runs, and you see it like running back towards you, past you. The tree line behind the bones cracking in half, and this humongous skull being demolished as the King of Feathers, this Tyrannosaurus
What?
Rex that has plumage that works all the way down. It is double the size of a historical Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it has double the hit points. And it's going to run into this space and roar. It's actually got great art. It's from Tomb of Annihilation.
I love the comment. It has double the hit points of a historical Tyrannosaurus Rex.
To be clear, historical is from the period of written history.
Ah.
And, as we know, T-Rexes are not historical animals. They're prehistoric.
Oh, that's true.
Therefore, this is a large chicken.
Well, this is I mean basically
It's a
based on the
big-ass
sacred
chicken.
text, which would now be history.
Of course.
Of course, because all the items are imported from Stephen King style from other universes.
Oh.
So there are D&D manuals that exist in the setting, and that's of course what I'm referencing.
The historic tome of creatures. Which it did,
And they're
did say it had advantage on perceptions if smell beeth involved.
Its movement doth not be based on sight. Alright, I want to show you this picture though. It's a cool picture.
I just like the idea
Back up again.
of like science books and stuff
There he
including
is.
hit points of animals.
There he is.
There he is. He's so. Oh, he's got a big
yeah.
rhino horn.
Big
oh,
round
I
one.
like him.
So he comes roaring in.
Or run.
He's scary, but he could also sell me cereal.
I
True.
would eat
True.
that cereal.
That's true.
He probably does in this
Dinobites.
corporate universe.
Yeah.
That's the historical T-Rex.
Right.
Dino bites.
Dynamite. Alright, and
He's not
let's
very-
go ahead and
very
start
strong
for
at all.
Big Tyrannosaurus Rex burst in. That's where we'll start next session.
Dope. That's fun. Fighting a big king of feathers.
And
King of
if
fellas.
Bryce or Taylor can make it next week, they'll just be doing their stuff on the other side
Great.
of the planet. So we'll be playing our session split screen.
Love it.
Okay.
Hopefully you can get your comms working again, 'cause, they're not working right now. And you can... Basically, any cliche that a Bond villain would do, imagine this guy doing it. There's just like... You guys are like... You even saw traps along the way, like obvious little pitfalls, like there's a rug over a hole, like just like bullshit.
Nice rug.
It's a nice rug. No, it's like thatched, whatever. Bullshit.
Sharks have lasers in their heads.
Sharks with lasers in the head. Yeah. Cool. Well, you didn't really kill anything, so I'm not gonna give you a level or anything.
It's fair.
Yeah, we don't need
It's very enjoyable though.
Don't give me a love it.
I'm getting
I don't
levels.
deserve it.
I didn't even want it, okay?
Session was about not getting a level. That's what I wanted to come out of this.
And nobody wanted that guy's cool scorpion armor. It's a shame.
What?
She's the only one that wears armor.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, you could have had some cool scorpion armor, but you've got built-in fake robot armor.
Yeah,
I don't
robot
need
armor.
it. It didn't even
Fake
occur to me.
robot.
We
It
don't
wasn't-
even need
You're
it.
right, it was organic-based armor.
It was not made of metal.
You don't want
I
that.
don't even care.
Alright, well, thanks for watching the part that had audio.
Also, the
Right.
silent film
Also
version.
the silent bill for it. Yeah, that's good. I will not be putting the transcript up.
Oh.
So,
Have fun.
I tried doing the auto
Dubbing.
the auto dub that YouTube
Right.
has, and there's just so much made up fucking words
That sounds great.
that it just is ridiculous.
That's
You
fine.
can't even follow it, and I am not going to hand type
Like
3 hours
disconcerting.
worth of.
Please don't.
No, I won't do that. No one cares. If I get at me, deaf fans. If there's a deaf fan who's like, I'd love to be a part of this, and you're excluding me, you ableist asshole, I will respond to that by doing it. I will say, you got it.
Absolutely.
Cross that bridge.
Sign up for the Patreon, and I'll spend 6 hours a week
Oh.
typing things.
Dictating.
All right, thank you so much. We'll see you. We'll see you Sunday for. What's happening on Sunday? Something cool's happening on Sunday too. Oh yeah, a dragon heist, an actual dragon heist, a dragon staff heist. Maybe
Yeah.
is the better way we should say that.
Phylactery.
No, you've already stolen the flag tree. You're trying to get the
Oh,
flag tree
the
back.
staff is the.
You're
Dragon
trying-
Phallus.
I guess you.
Helps
Oh,
them
I
get
guess.
into-
Actually, that's a good point. You guys could just try to steal from the dragon. There are 2 dragons that you can steal from. So we'll talk with the other group. You can either try to.
That's for another night.
Yeah, you can either try to steal back the flag tree from the dragon that you made a deal with, or you can steal from the dragon that doesn't know you're coming for his staff and
Right.
give that staff to the other dragon. All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Second.
Second.